welcome to GBU. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And the theme today is Hulk.
Peter David ran into a little bit of health complications lately, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to homage him and talk about one of his most celebrated periods in comics, and that was his Incredible Hulk series. I'm actually just taking a look at this old Incredible Hulk-sized issue of Wizard magazine that talks all about David being on the Hulk and all the incredible artists he worked with in the past, and it's all on display in these issues.
This is Incredible Hulk number 385 with art by Keown?
Dale Keown. Your guess is as good as mine. He was a seminal Hulk artist, then went off to make his own creator-owned work, Pitt, for Image. And
that makes sense. And as we enter upon the city, it's in turmoil. I don't know what city this is. I'm assuming New York.
Yeah, I think it's New York. It's
so.
whatever city he operates out of at this point.
And on the cover, you can tell that this is part of the Infinity Gauntlet run.
Yes, so you know what event is happening during this period. Oh!
It's a snap.
It's a snap.
And half of the population from Earth is gone.
Yep.
Which is interesting because I always assumed, because I don't think we ever got any answer from this.
No.
That half the life in the universe was obliterated, but that meant like, oh, this planet's gone, but this planet's still here.
No, it's just half of the life on each world.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
so
that's interesting.
When they did it for the movie, I thought it was different than this, but apparently it was the same.
No, yeah, half of everybody disappeared.
Fires, looting, rioting, and this like little old man walking through, and as he walks through, he goes down and he tips his finger in someone's blood and tastes it. He goes, oh, it's delicious. But it's missing some salt, like the salt of a woman's tears.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is creepy as all hell.
Uh-huh.
And as you get further into the book, we come upon 3 joggers running. There's a woman with 2 men, and she's like, I run with you guys for safety and protection. And then they see a literal tidal wave. Well, not a literal tidal
Practically.
wave. But a wave of people approaching them called the Gestalt.
Yes. Well, they're referring to Gestalt, who is actually, that's what they call the old man. But I guess like it all could be Gestalt. But they refer to him as Gestalt in this book. I didn't know that at the time, but looking back and reading it again, I was like, oh, he's Gestalt.
Yeah.
And not be confused with another Marvel character whose name is also Gestalt.
What?
Yeah.
There were 2?
There are at least 2.
Oh. Well, that's confusing. And they kill the 3 joggers, and Gestalt is just like, you know, this is a lot of fun. I'm really having fun with this. This is great.
Yeah, it's a really optimistic portrayal of what humanity would do in crisis.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, they don't just like attack them. Oh, I think they take the woman.
Well, they said they'll take them all because, like, the guy that she says, like, you know, I run with you to protect me because he's like, what are we doing out here? Or,
Yeah.
like, you know, you shouldn't be out here. And like, he immediately is like, take her.
Yeah.
Let us live.
Yeah, that's right.
And like, Gestalt's like, we'll take them all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we took the woman and Mac too. We had a lot to offer him and a lot to give her. And I'm like,
Oh, so they're not just like roving murderers. They do everything.
They dabble in everything.
Yeah.
I'll say this. She's wearing a purple jogger's outfit, and then she is literally in a tree, bloodied, missing a shoe. The Hulk is snapped to Earth, because in the middle of the fight, Thanos dispatches him.
Yeah.
And apparently this is where he ends up.
Right.
He just goes home. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this is Smart Hulk. This is the combination of Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Oh, that fight with Thanos was crazy. But now that I'm back home, and I guess I should probably check on Betty.
But I do like how he's like, all right, well, I was in Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm not gonna try. Like, you know what? They'll figure it out.
Well, how is he supposed to get back?
Oh, I know, but
He's smart.
he's smart. He could figure it out.
He got snapped to Earth.
Yeah.
Let's just say, well, I'm just gonna take it easy for a minute.
Good luck with all that.
Get everything
Everybody
together
else.
over here, maybe.
Yeah,
I'll be the cavalry when they need it.
if they do, which they don't.
Someone in a limo tries to run him over and says, like, you're gonna die. And he's like, I mean, you can try it. And they crash into him, and they're bleeding and dying, possibly already dead. And he's just like, well, that's what you get. You tried to run me over, and those are the consequences of your actions.
What a hero.
If you live in this universe, you know who the Hulk is, and maybe you don't hit him with your car.
Maybe.
Like, why do you think you're like, I could take him with
I
my
know.
limo?
Because of Gestalt.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe we'll talk more about that. Like, what Gestalt's role in all of this is. Like, I think he's an opportunist. I don't know if he is like.
There's a weird mysticism right at the end. I was like, oh,
What?
oh.
Like, I don't know if he's like ratcheting it up or he's just drawing power from it. But we'll talk. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
talk.
This limo has a phone. I'll use it to call Betty.
It's 94. They don't have cell phones.
I got nothing.
I don't know. I looked her up. I can't find her anywhere.
All we know is that this is like a tidal wave of people.
Oh, yeah.
Chasing her.
Yeah, it's really horrible.
Yeah.
It's like a zombie apocalypse, but they're people.
Right.
I mean, zombies are people.
Yeah, but,
I mean,
But
not anymore. So, like, she's pretending to be, like, oblivious to what's going on. And as the tidal wave approaches her, she just turns around and fires her bow. And apparently it frightens them. It hurts, and it starts to scatter them.
Yeah, because they're actually just regular people who are giving in to the hysteria of losing half the population. And they're like, oh, you can fight back. I best go on.
Yeah,
It's
so
like-
they do have some faculties about them.
Yeah.
Or at least they get their faculties back, maybe.
Yeah, when they get knocked
It's a little
out.
unclear.
Yeah.
But all we know is that she's like, I'm not going to have any pity on you, and neither is my partner. And as we turn around, there's some giant dude in a mech suit, essentially. Or power armor, I guess.
I think he's just a big guy.
I think he's just a massive dude. I don't know him from anything.
And he's like knocking them left and right, just battering through them. And then you see either a teen.
It's a teen. Like, it's a young boy.
Oh,
like,
yes.
He could
It's
be
not-
12 to 16.
But he's not
knows?
necessarily drawn like that.
No.
But that is what he is.
Kids are tough.
And he's asking for pity, and the big guy shows him none.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, no, she said not to. So I'm not gonna.
I had direct rules not to show pity.
Yeah. The sequence in which he is squished is just horrific.
Yes.
Because he's begging. It's very rare in a 90s Marvel comic book for someone to beg for their life, not get any pity, and then to have the last panel of him being squished just all red.
Now, I will say, he says, don't hurt me, kill the others.
Oh, yeah. No, he is.
Yeah.
He's selfish.
So again, much like the other jogger being like, hey, if you're looking to kill somebody, that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Just don't make it me.
I think that's like the point of the story. Like, this is what Peter David is saying. Like, when people are faced with like annihilation or death or any really hard choice, they'll eat each other.
Apparently, Gestalt is like, oh, this hurts them, it scatters them, throws my forces to the wind, but that's okay. I can go elsewhere in the city. And they come upon a church, and they drive in the priest and put him up on a cross and start burning him.
Yeah.
And that's when the Hulk, like, starts to smell something. I like Gestalt in this because he's just throwing puns around.
Yeah.
Other than the obvious, like opposites he's saying, where the priest goes, no, and he goes, yes, don't, do, stop, go, which is silly.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that he goes, you'll have to do better than that, Father. I've got all night. And you'll just have hot cross buns.
That is such a Peter David line, you know, fewer have ever been written.
I groaned so hard, but still had a big smile on my face as I read that.
That's a Peter David book for you.
Hulk finally smashes down, busts up the congregation, saves the priest, and then he and Gestalt go at it.
Yeah.
And Gestalt's like, you can't stop me. I have all the power I've ever had and more. Like, this is it. This is my city right now.
Yeah.
I am the city. He picks up the Hulk and throws the Hulk.
Yeah.
And it's very terrifying to see.
Oh, yeah.
Because he becomes sort of monstrous and big.
Yeah.
Then Gestalt gets a spiky club?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, we see it later. Gestalt can apparently affect the environment or the things around him and infuse them with like the hate that he feels. We'll talk about like the interpretation of who Gestalt is, but seemingly, and what is shown later, he just grabs like a seemingly innocuous piece of wood, and now it has become this like
A barbarous club.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's got like spikes all over it. It's featured on the cover of the book.
Is it? Oh, yeah, it is.
I thought that was like his signature weapon.
Yeah, no, it's just a weapon he conjures.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But as he's hitting the Hulk, other people are doing the same thing, which makes me think that he is having an effect on them.
He's puppeting them or something. Like his will is being like shown through their bodies.
Yeah.
Because like they are also doing the exact same motions. Now it could be that maybe it's just like thematically mirroring what he's doing. Like we're seeing him bash the Hulk as we are watching like someone bash someone else. It could be, but it could also just be like them physically being puppeted by him as well. I don't know. And you'll never know.
Yeah,
because
that's the great thing.
There's no sequel to this.
There's no answer,
Yeah.
and you just have to accept it for the madness that it is.
Right. Yeah. The whole book is utter madness.
So the Hulk like grabs the club and turns the tides on him. He like grabs his hands and tries to stop him. And at one point, the guy's like, "Look, you either have to be predator or prey in this city, and like that's it. That's all that's left here because this is the last night on Earth," which was weird to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because I mean, half the population's gone. So I mean, if you're religious or you're like extreme religious, you're probably thinking rapture. You know, you're thinking some kind of like divine intervention. So you're thinking it's Armageddon. It's the end of the world.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's like, no, I'm celebrating the last day.
As the Hulk grabs the club and like tries to stop him, all the people turn against the Hulk and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And he's like, "They're mindless. They've given themselves over to me. Like, this is what pure apathy and wrath and carnage look like. Like, this is the last night on Earth. They know that there is no other like rule or law.
Yeah.
So they don't care anymore." Hulk bats them all away and he takes the club and he just starts bashing Gestalt's brain in. And the creepy thing is that Gestalt likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, "Yes, yes, oh gods. Oh, this is transcendent. This is everything I could have hoped for. The blood, it's everywhere. It's mine. It's exquisite. The taste. And I think I'm in love. Finally, I found one to be with me."
Yeah. So clearly, like, you know, A, we're likening it to sexual gratification.
Yep.
And B, it's like Gestalt's like, oh, I found someone like who's willing to kill me, who's willing to go farther.
Well,
like,
and not only that, the Hulk was a mindless rage machine for a long time.
oh, that's true. Yeah.
It really fits in with who Gestalt is.
That's true. And it's a good foil for the Hulk, especially now that he's not a mindless rage monster.
But the sun comes up. And as that happens, Gestalt's like, "No, this was supposed to be the end. Why is another day dawning?"
Yeah.
And as it happens, and Gestalt is being bludgeoned, not to death, I don't think,
No.
but being beaten, people start to recess and like lose that rage and calm down and become themselves again. And in an instant, Rick Jones appears.
Yes.
Because apparently the Infinity Gauntlet fight is over and
Yeah.
everyone is snapped back into existence.
Yeah, Nebula got the Infinity Gauntlet, and she was like, let everything be as it was 24 hours ago.
Yep.
Which I get, which is interesting because Peter David didn't get that note. Because things are not as they were 24 hours ago.
No. No, they are not, because people are still dead.
Yeah.
The city is still in shambles. Hulk's still on Earth,
Right?
dealing with all of
So
this.
did this happen then?
Yeah. I think it
no.
did. I think it did because the people are still dead. Like, Jones is back. They unmade his death, but they didn't unmake the effort that was, like...
Yeah, but like technically within Marvel continuity, this didn't happen then.
I think it shouldn't have happened, but...
So it's like, in theory, then he never met Gestalt.
Right.
So they say, but that's not what David says.
Yeah.
Well,
in this
yeah.
book, Gestalt happened, and, like, people... Because we'll see.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, "Yeah, I was dead. It was crazy. I saw Elvis."
Yeah, that's right.
He's all these like notes, and Hulk's like, okay, shut up about that. I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah, whatever.
And this is the interesting thing. Apparently, as you're saying, the stick reverts back into being a stick. This horrible,
This huge
ugly
mutated
club
yeah.
goes back. I thought it was Gestalt's weapon. I didn't realize he was affecting the environment around him. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's still blood there.
yes.
So, like, maybe he did beat Gestalt to death, but he's not there anymore.
So, like, maybe Gestalt comes out from people. Maybe he just got fueled from the people around him. And the great thing is that, like, Rick says, like, "Hey, so, like, is it over?" Oh, there's a great scene where that kid who got stomped to death,
Yes.
his mother is out there. I don't know why she was out there. Maybe she was part of the human tide.
Kind of looking for him. She might have. Yeah, she might have been with the crowd. More likely, he just lives in that area, and she was just looking for him.
It's possible.
Right?
But she comes upon him and she's
Maybe
like,
she's blipped back in.
Could be that too.
"My boy! He was such a good boy.
Yeah.
He was a good boy." And she's crying over him. And then, like, the person that killed them,
Yeah, the like crazy archer lady. And
Crazy Archer Later and the giant armored dude were just like, "Well, let's not
We
go
should
out
go.
there."
yes.
Rick asks, "Did we win?" And Hulk goes, "Well, you're here. So if you're talking about like that big fight I just had up in space, we won. But if you're talking about down here, and if Gestalt really isn't just like, if he didn't make the city mad, but instead fueled off of all the hate and disgust that were already inside people, then I don't really think we did. We just kind of call it a draw."
Yeah. So
It's a downer.
it's a major downer. It's the first Hulk comic I ever read.
No.
What?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't think I like the Hulk.
Yeah, but also I was like, this Hulk book stuck with me in a profound way, where I was like, I'd never experienced horror like that before. The fact that Mother finds him later, I was like, it further deepens the terror and horror of his death originally.
These are some serious consequences.
Yeah. So I don't think it is unmade, although it should be. But the real other question is, what's up with this Gestalt character? Never shows up again.
Really?
This is the first and only appearance
No, I'm
of
looking that up.
Gestalt. No, you don't have to, because I already did.
Did you really?
And I'm telling you, that's it. And that means that you'll see him again within a year or so.
Yeah, because we covered him.
Gestalt is also a design principle.
Is he?
Well, not he.
Well, is it?
It is.
And what is that?
It's like a sum of the parts.
Ah,
Like you'll
so-
see it in advertising and
Right.
such.
So if enough people
Here.
are crazed and terrified,
Yeah.
he will emerge.
Yeah. I don't think Gestalt's really there.
Right.
I think he's conjured
right.
by that.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So he's not really a man. He's not, because Hulk muses about like maybe he was just a mutant whose power is that he can like feed off of energy.
I mean-
or maybe it's that humanity will make him if they get too wacko.
Yeah.
Neat idea. Great
Like
idea.
that's where I went. I mean, like I was like, no, he's not a mutant. I'm
No.
like, this is a
He's a force of
supernatural
nature.
being. Like this is something out there that like was like, nah, it's never been this bad.
It
Yes.
exists.
Yeah. And
We
it's
can't
like
escape it.
Yeah.
there are so few Infinity Gauntlet tie-ins that are even close to what this is.
Right.
This is just Peter David talking about humanity.
What I like about this too is that like with this type of horrible character, like with Gestalt just in general, like I don't know if that's actually like what
it looks
Gestalt
like.
looks like. I don't know if that isn't just someone that he went into and infected.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
or if like Gestalt takes on many forms depending on where he is. But like Gestalt's the kind of like evil that could like show up in like a small town somewhere and then
Yes.
like you'd never see him again. There'd be no heroes there to fix that.
Exactly. Well, and the fact I think that he grows and gets big and monstrous when Hulk like rages out
Mm-hmm.
is completely reflective of the fact that he is made up of the sum of the like
His surroundings.
He looks like people, like
Yeah.
regular, unassuming, thin, like just he looks like an unassuming, like a very mundane human.
And like additionally, he mentions too, I think a couple of times when he's talking about like the wave in general, like those guys work for him, but it's also him. Like
Yeah.
it's an extension of him as well.
Right.
Like again, like leading to that Gestalt principle. So like, he says like, we've got other lovers to find
Yes.
tonight. I'm like, okay,
Right.
yeah, you're everything, and like you're just grabbing as you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Affecting what's around him.
Yeah, cool villain, and like just an idea where I was like, "What? Who ruined Gestalt?" And then I looked him up, and I'm like, nobody.
I think I have a feeling they were like, I don't know what to do.
I don't know
with
what that
Gestalt.
is, and they probably asked Peter David, and he was like, "I'm not telling you. I'm gonna save him.
Yeah,
Gestalt's
I'll use him later.
I'll use him in Symbiote Spider-Man in 2023." Like, no.
Gestalt's the kind of villain that should show up in like either like a Punisher or a Daredevil book.
Oh, they would not know what to do. It'd be amazing to see Matt deal with him.
Yeah,
Because Matt's like, I don't see anything. There's nothing there.
yeah, especially with like Chip at the helm.
Oh yeah. Well, that'd be something to see. This is Incredible Hulk number 390, War and Pieces, one of three, one of the most iconic covers of the 90s, particularly for Hulk.
Is it really?
It's Hulk wielding a big gun.
Oh, it's on the Wizard.
This is, of course, written by Peter David with art by, again, Dale Keown, or Keown. I don't know. I'm never going to. But we're in a made-up country that is war-torn, and it's obviously an allegory for the Gulf War that's happening in the 90s. But they are being plagued by superhuman or Shieldian technology, so it isn't just a one-to-one analog. Mandroids make an appearance. Mandroids are, of course, used across Marvel continuity, but they're being sold to the local government to quell the insurrection.
Right, but it's just battle armor, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like almost like a mech.
Oh yeah, no, Mandroids are just armor that Shield / other countries use that are like Iron Man armor, but they're just mech suits. Yeah. Sometimes they can be piloted remotely, though.
Oh.
In this case, they are not.
Okay.
But yeah, we're introduced to like the civil war that's taking place in this country that should be an analog for a Middle Eastern country, but everyone's white anyway. Yeah, he's part of the Pantheon, which I had no context for when I bought this book in the first place, and I don't really have right now.
I kind of assumed that they were like
It's like a
do-gooders,
do-gooder organization.
and so like he wasn't just he decided. They were like, you should go do that. And he
Yeah,
was
they
probably
sent him
like,
there.
yeah, all right.
I guarantee you, David was watching the news, and he's like, what if the Hulk just dropped in? Because nobody can tell him what to do. No one can stop him. What if he just dropped in and did what he wanted? Which is what he does.
It'd be great.
Yeah. Obviously on behalf of the Pantheon, which is the group he's in, but like, he's not backed by anybody. He's just there.
No, but Rick's with them.
Oh yeah, of course.
And we get that little flashback, which barely you can tell is a flashback. It's just
my
like,
God.
it's just inserted and you're like,
what?
what was the flashback?
Well, and you could tell it's just Peter David going, oh right, I didn't really tell anybody like how he got there or why.
Well,
Here you
I don't
go.
want to spoil the surprise,
Yes.
so I'll go back without telling you I'm going back.
No. So, and here's the sequence, and it's not a lie. The cover is not a lie. Hulk shows up, and he just ripped weapons off of the mandroids and wielded them.
In his bunny slippers.
In his bunny slippers. Classic image of the Hulk and bunny slippers. Hulk is full of quips. He's like, when he's holding these giant weapons, he's like, let us reason together. Ah ha ha. But also he's like, well, now I have a personal reason to stop you guys. It's because you destroyed my favorite pink bunny slippers. Rick Jones is kind of like part of like the second wave. Like Hulk goes in, he softens
like
them up.
entirely the second wave. He's just like, okay.
Yeah, Rick Jones is like, hey, me too. And he's like wearing pieces of armor that the mandroid pilots all are also. He's like, foomp, like puts on like a helmet. He's like, hey, me too.
I'm part of it.
Yeah, and they make various and numerous pop culture references. Anyway.
A lot of pop culture references.
Yeah, they talk about Terminator 2,
Last
Indiana
Crusade.
Jones. Yep. Yeah, it's nonstop. We see like the leader of this country is also entertaining I believe it's CIA operative, or at least like some
The
member
CIA
of.
is there, and there's like this woman. CIA is there, but he's there to talk to her.
Right.
Which we don't know about what, but like, and really the CIA operative is the important one.
Yes. But of course, it's also Peter David talking about like the CIA getting involved in international affairs that we have no business doing, and all for oil or profit.
And he's not actually CIA.
And he's not. No.
Because we find out later what he is.
Yeah, exactly. He's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Which is like, that's where the mandroids come from, obviously. Hulk gets like, I don't know, momentarily slowed down by one of the mandroids and is like super pissed off and ends up saying something that is thrown in his face later because he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill somebody. I'm super pissed and I'm gonna kill somebody. And then he like smashes some androids, and then he is joined by another leader of the Freedom Fighters, which like wields energy swords and special shields and crazy armor. And I'm like, okay, we're losing the political theater of the story, but whatever.
It should be Deathstroke, but again, that's DC.
Yep. So it should be Deadpool then. But
or Taskmaster.
yeah. Oh, Taskmaster would be amazing.
He's like, I got hired by these assholes.
Yeah, but he murders one of the mandroid pilots, and Hulk's like, what are you doing, man? Why'd you kill him? And he's like, because that's what we're doing here. I'm in a war.
They're trying to kill us.
Yeah, and
I'm not a Hulk.
Right, and you just said, like, I'm going to kill somebody. And he's like, yeah, I was just kind of like saying
I didn't mean that.
I didn't mean it. And
Your words mean things, man.
right, you yelled it right now. Like, it seemed like you really meant what you were saying when you were running at them. Like, because you were also, and actually that's like, it's not really brought up in the first story, but in the last two, like, Hulk's insecurity and his, like, issues with having been the Hulk and how he'd been portrayed for so long. Like, I'm finally myself in my best form, and I'm still not happy. So Rick has gifted Hulk some bunny slippers.
They're from Betty.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And they make a Superman joke.
And they do, yeah.
And Hulk tries to
because
pretend.
of the glasses? Because
Yeah.
like, Hulk's like wearing the glasses, and he's like, I don't recognize you.
And Hulk tries to pretend like he doesn't really. He's like, oh, yeah, from Betty? I haven't thought about her at all.
Yeah, because Betty and Hulk are on the outs. They are still married, but they're like separated. And so Betty's like doing
What does
her
the book say, Tiffany?
Oh, that book?
Yeah, that book.
Oh.
How to please a woman and make her beg for more.
Yeah, that's one of the books Hulk's reading.
Which he...
Yikes.
And I love it because he's not just reading it. He's taking notes. Yeah, so Hulk's like, yeah, I'm going to go, like, I'm going to jump in and kick ass and disrupt the Civil War. You want to come? Rick's like, yeah, of course I do, because I do that. I jump into things that I have no business jumping into with no powers.
I'm Rick Jones.
Because I'm Rick Jones. I used to, help Captain America out back in the day. Captain America shoved me into a Bucky suit and then started crying. So,
Take it off!
take it off! I didn't tell you to wear it! So, we meet up with Betty, and Betty is working in a call center, and she's like clearly not dealing with the separation well because she's getting really upset and hot-headed.
She gets the call because she took a message for Betty.
That's
and
right.
And Betty's like, don't mess with that's not funny.
Yeah, because she keeps getting a call from Rick Jones's mother, and she's like, well, I happen to know Rick Jones doesn't have a mother, so it's really creepy and weird that they're calling. And then
and Ronnie gets really pissed off and angry, being like, look, I don't know this stuff.
Take your own
I just
damn
took the
messages."
message.
exactly.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's just women. They're just always angry.
They're just screaming their heads off, getting upset about what men are doing.
I'm a pot of rage right now.
Clearly.
Whoa, calm down.
So Betty gets the call finally, and it's from supposedly Rick Jones's mother, and she's like, "Oh!" I'm like, "You were just prepped for that."
She drops her coffee.
She drops her coffee, yeah. So the government guy who's clearly working for S.H.I.E.L.D. Reveals that, like, okay, so if Hulk is fighting for the freedom fighters, you need Hulk-level weaponry to fight them back. And
the
thankfully...
dude's like, excuse me, I've got like 200,000 soldiers.
Yeah, and I got mandroids and stuff, and it's like, yeah, well, I got the next best thing. It's a brand new team from Marvel Comics, X Factor. The government-sanctioned X team that features a bunch of fun, colorful characters, including Strong Guy and Wolfsbane and so forth.
And Polaris.
Polaris is there as well, Havoc. And so that's like the carrot. They're like, X Factor is coming to the Hulk. And there's going to be a fight between X Factor and Hulk. And so that's pretty exciting.
And I'm going to do this one, which is much later on. Wait, what was this? Number
390?
Oh, that's not that much later on then.
It's not much, but a lot could have
It's
happened.
enough.
I mean, if it's one a month, that's more than a year later.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Incredible Hulk number 417.
Yes.
Which when I picked this up, I was like, oh no, this is really big. I'm not gonna have enough time to read this. I didn't realize that there was like a tiny advertisement comic in here, plus a set of cards, plus another set of advertisements, and yeah, I was like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
This is written by Peter David with art this time by Gary Frank.
Oh!
Which is pretty cool because he'll be on this until Liam Sharp takes over.
Yep.
And I know that thanks to that sweet article.
Yes.
This issue is interesting because it's like, hey, here's this funny, silly thing that's going on that I'm sure for people who are reading the book at the time, it's like, that's kind of exciting, right? But also Hulk's having a real rough time because another significant moment in Hulk's life has already happened, and he is shook.
Yes.
He is shook by it. And we know that because he shows up to Doc Samson's place, and he knocks on the door, and he just knocks the door off the hinges.
Yep.
And he walks in kind of like a zombie.
Yeah.
And he's clearly there for a therapy appointment.
Well, he forces one.
Yeah, he makes it happen, but Doc's like, I'm cleaning, and I'm not I'm thinking I'm actually gonna go back to my real job because you're not into this whole thing. I totally get it, man.
It's good you're here because I had something I wanted to tell you. It's not working out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to see other patients. So.
And you don't even want, you're not taking this seriously.
Yeah, you don't want this. And I can't if you try to force someone into therapy, it's not going to work. So, that's fine. I'm going to go on with my life. And when you're ready, whatever.
Yeah. And
how about if I smash a mirror and cry?
Well,
Am I ready then?
He smashes the mirror because when he looks at it, he sees the face of the maestro,
Yes.
which I was like, oh, this must have happened right after Future Imperfect.
Yeah. And it's not right after, but Future Imperfect took place, and it's just.
But that's cool. I'm glad that it took
the fallout.
Yeah, later on. It
Yeah.
wasn't immediate because sometimes that happens, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he smashes the mirror and then he drops to his knees and he looks up overly dramatically and cries. And it's I like it. It looks great.
No, it does look.
And we're like, hey, that's really sad and very introspective.
It's also boring.
And wouldn't you really like to know? I'm like, oh.
Oh, I know.
I'm into this. Where are we going with this? But we're gonna put the brakes on that one because back at Betty and Marlo's place in Reno, Betty just was returned from literally going to all these different places because don't forget, there's no internet.
Yeah, and if you want to get married,
you got to go to places
Reno.
and make phone calls, and you got to go places and make appointments. She had to go and cancel all these appointments because Marlo was going to marry Rick Jones, and clearly it wasn't going to work out. We find out that Rick bailed on that,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So Betty comes home being like, I had the worst day because I canceled your wedding. You're welcome.
Because
Hello?
you were too distraught.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's no answer. And then Marlo pops her head out and she's like, hey, actually there's a big problem with that. And she flings the door open and Rick is in bed naked.
Marlo, also nude.
Yep.
Yeah, but in a robe.
Yep, the tiniest robe ever.
Yeah, and she's like, actually, it's on.
We reconciled. It's fine.
Yeah. So
I need you to go back to those places and undo.
Yeah,
the
Marlo's like,
cancellation.
aren't you happy for us? And no. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Betty's like, I'll kill you.
I love that because it's like, ba-da-dan-da-dan-dan.
Yep. Drama.
Hulk's-
Melodrama.
Hulk's sad.
Well, one is serious and one is
Uplifting or
Okay,
fun.
so-
Whimsical.
weird.
While that's going on, invitations have been sent out to this wedding because you can't stop that. That was
No.
mailed. So that's out there. And like Cap has been trying to get people.
Nothing can stop the mail.
Nothing.
That's right.
Cap's been trying to get people to go to the wedding because people are going to boycott it because of the Hulk. Which
Yeah.
I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah.
But like Cap takes offense to that. He's like, no, Rick Jones is cool and all of you are jerks. So Avengers, you're going.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four, you're going. Meanwhile, Sue apparently has just lost Reed.
Yes, Reed grabbed Doom's hand, and they were flashed into nothingness, seemingly killed, or seemingly transported to the year 2099.
Hang on.
Neither of which happened.
Because meanwhile, she is dressed in that outfit.
Yeah.
You know what outfit I'm talking
Oh,
about.
the boob window.
Yeah.
The
we got-
Let's Attract Namor outfit.
We've got the boob window. Like, there's like so many windows. Like,
Yes.
there's like a million windows on her,
She
right?
by the way, she designed that costume when Reed was alive. She
Tiffany.
was trying to get his attention.
They're not windows. They're little invisible force fields.
Oh, right. No, she's actually completely covered head to toe. But like, this is going on, and like, there is a moment later on in this where I'm like, okay, that's Sue. I totally get that. But this moment where
Yeah.
like Cap is playing pool with Johnny as he's like talking about how mad he is that the Avengers were not going to come to this party and
Yeah,
like,
and it's
or
like
to
you're
the
lucky to be
wedding.
invited to any parties, Avengers, because
and
you're
like,
lame.
and the Fantastic Four, he's like, you guys are going right, and Johnny's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care.
I'll go to a free party.
But you know, he goes to make a shot, and Sue's like, $5, you don't make that shot, and she forces it to not happen, and like they clearly have a flirtatious moment there.
Oh, yeah.
Between the two of them, like Cap's like,
yeah.
Johnny, get out of here.
Yeah, you cracked my style.
I'm like, you know,
That's my sister, man.
and like Sue is clearly like,
And
That listen, if I don't get to bang Reed Richards anymore, which I barely was anyway, I'm gonna bang Captain America.
Yeah, duh.
she's got a thing for older men.
Well, I think
Very.
she's like, I think that's like, not that Cap's like a dummy, but like it's a totally different experience. Cap is an old-fashioned kind of dude.
Yeah,
He's gonna like
gonna open the doors for her. He's gonna hold her hand.
He's gonna bring her flowers.
Yep.
Like I think she's like, yes,
Yeah,
Boy Scouts.
Because you know what's gonna happen with Namor. It's gonna be 15 seconds of pleasure, and then it's gonna be over, and then he's gonna bail.
I beg your pardon. Namor knows how to treat a woman.
Does he?
Yes.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that he's wearing a Speedo all the time.
That just means he has a lot of confidence.
Ladies!
No, I think in that instance she's like, I appreciate that Namor's into me, but like that's the same ego that Reed had.
Yeah.
And look at Cap over here. All he wants to do is get people to go to his friend's wedding.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a very nice man.
Safe bet.
I'm going to wear the sexiest outfit ever in front of
It
him.
happens to be my uniform.
Right? It'd be great if
so-
like she retired that outfit and then she brought it back out.
And China's like, what are you doing?
yeah.
What are you doing with that old thing?
What is that? Oh my God.
Oh, not
Trying to
this
bang
again.
Steve.
Hulk is having a therapy session, and he's talking about what happened during Future Imperfect. So it's like, hey, just as a heads up, like I'm really upset about like the future for me, the maestro, however you want to say it.
Right.
But that like we bring up the fact that he's just like, it reminded me of what my dad looked like when he got angry, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. What?
That like, you know, his dad was a rage monster as well, but like of like the non-gamma green kind.
That's right. Got a real problem with being the old Hulk.
Yeah.
You think that would be the thing and be very superficial, but no,
It's like I am afraid I'm going to become my father.
which is like every man's first therapy
And I'm
session.
like, cool, all right. But we don't have time for that because Hulk has to go to the airport as part of this cadre of people who are picking up Marlo's mom for the
Yes.
wedding because we didn't tell her it was canceled, and I guess good thing we didn't because it's on.
Because it's
Damn
still
right.
on.
So we're not done. We got to add some more layers onto this because I mean, like, this is a big event. You know, Rick Jones has touched a lot of lives in the Marvel
Yes.
universe, and so like it makes sense, especially within the Hulk book. You're gonna have certain characters showing up, so we have to go to the Pantheon, where Ulysses from this book, the magazine that threw me off. I'm like, wait,
Yeah,
this
this
book. Shows up. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. We make a George Perez joke, which is like sad for us who know that George.
us in the future, we've lost George Perez just recently, but for this
you.
comic book, he'll be there forever.
Yeah. So and it's nice, but I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But also, they reference George Perez, who is
Yeah.
a real person
Well,
here.
Hulk will break the fourth wall in these sometimes.
Yeah. But Ulysses is talking to other Pantheon agent Hector about going to this event, and like they have this really interesting one-page conversation about the fact that Hector is gay,
Yeah.
and like the way in which Ulysses talks to him, and the way that Hector's like is like trying to like educate him.
Yes.
And I loved it. I was like, what is happening? Like in the middle of this, like clearly this issue that's supposed to be about like, ha ha ha, like, you know, there's going to be a wedding, or we're
Yeah.
going to do a bachelor party, a bachelorette party. We're going to deal with like the fallout of Hulk going to the future and seeing himself of what he'll become.
Yeah.
And how much it like internally is affecting him. And also like, hey, there's like these two guys who had like clearly have a friendship, and one of the guys has come out.
Yeah.
And like how the other guy now
how his friend interprets that.
yeah, and how he's like, why are you even going to this?
Right.
It's a bachelor party.
Like, there's nothing there for you.
Yeah, and
What?
like
He's
Rick's
my
still
friend.
my friend.
Yeah.
yeah, and like Ulysses is shrugging it off because like, I think he's just. I don't think he's mean-spirited, but
No.
like he doesn't understand what he's saying is
Hurtful.
and
That's exactly
wrong.
what it is.
And I like to think that I have only this issue to judge based on like
Yeah.
that. And like if he turns out to be an asshole, then, or sorry, if he turns out to be a total jerk,
Yeah. No, it's true.
then like then screw him. Because like Hector really handles it well.
Yeah.
You know, like I love that.
But I
where,
like that because it's like, that's Hector. Like, Hector and people like Hector who is like, I have to deal with people like this every day.
Yeah,
I know how to deal with people like this every day.
Right, because Jesus says like, listen, man, it's your choice and it's none of my concern. He's like, no, it's not a choice, it's who I am. And I was
Yeah.
like,
what
what year is this? Like,
Yeah, like 94. What?
so we're gonna have the bachelor party. We're also gonna have the bachelorette party, right? Mom's there, and the gang shows up. And who's the gang? Well, it's Sue Storm is there.
A-Force.
It is A. Is it A-Force?
I mean,
No.
They weren't called that back
It's
then.
She-Hulk and who's the Skrull?
Elijah.
I'm like,
Johnny
what is her
Storm's
name?
girlfriend, wife, mother of their egg.
And like Sue Storm, you would not recognize right now, not based on how you saw her earlier, because she is literally covered head to toe.
Cap's not here.
Oh my God.
Rick Jones's
Bachelor
bachelor
party
is
is
at the,
so
Is at
lame.
the VFW because Cap planned it, I think.
Cap planned it. He's like, I got
like-
I pulled some strings and I got us the VFW hall. And it's
Rick
like,
is having a great time. Rick is hammered. I mean, it looks like the Thing is there. He's fallen down. The Silver Surfer is there. Iron Man is there.
Yeah, it looks like War Machine's
War
there,
Machine
too.
is there, and I think Jim is there.
Yeah, Jim's there too.
Which would be another like groundbreaking sort of issue. What, like 3 issues later?
Yeah, 3 issues later, Jim's gonna die.
But yeah, and like Hercules is there, and like Cap's like, hey, you didn't smoke the punch is like non-alcoholic, right? Like he will not have any. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, you and Sue, absolutely, you two
Yeah.
get together.
You deserve.
I like
each
the
other.
fact that he's giving the Hulk crap because he's like, hey, you lied to me.
Yeah.
You said the punch would be non-alcoholic.
Yeah, Hulk's
And
like,
Hulk's like, it is.
It is, and it's like, no,
No, because people keep pouring things into it.
it's the
Yeah,
boys.
It's like grease.
It's like the Newsboys or something like that. I can't remember their names, but like Hulk used to roll with these ham radio enthusiasts in the 60s. And now they're here.
and they're
I
here
thought
too.
they were Rick's friends.
They are Rick's friends. He's part of
Meanwhile-
a team of ham radio enthusiasts.
Nick Fury like tricked Cap into going along with something where like this woman shows up and she's got a cape and like a crazy supervillain
Yeah, she looks like a supervillain.
yeah
of the
outfit,
time.
but she's holding a blow dryer, and like Iron Man notices that and everyone like springs into action, and Cap's like, hang on, we better do as she says. And then like they sit him down, they sit Rick down, and it's a stripper,
Yeah.
right? And like
Wait, what's her name?
her name is, I don't know how to say this, Ecdysiast.
The Ecdysiast,
The Ecdysiast.
which is
It's apparently another word for a stripper.
it's just literally another word for a stripper, but it's just a big long word.
Right, but
So people are
like-
like what?
Like Hulk's like, nice, Cap, you went along with that. He's like, I thought it meant a magician.
I loved that
Yeah,
panel.
they told him that Ecdysiast means magician.
It's like, oh,
No.
she's gonna make some things disappear, all
No,
right.
they didn't tell him. He was like, oh, that sounds like a magician. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is why he's so on board. I was like,
wow.
wow,
Yeah, Cap rocks. Way to go.
Cap is great.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What?
Why is she taking her clothes off?
I can imagine, like, what are you thinking is going to happen, Cap? He's like, oh, what's that behind your ear, young?
Why is it vibrating? Oh god.
Hulk is worried about what Betty would think, but we cut to Betty, and she's in a male strip club.
She's having a blast.
She's having a great time. There's a cowboy
it
up
off.
there. She's screaming to take it off, and
He's dressed like the Rawhide Kid, by the way. Who's a
Betty's
Marlo
trying to
character.
get Marlo on stage, and guess who's helping? Her mom. I love that. I was like, is that her mom? She's like, hey, our friend. She calls her her friend.
Yeah.
They get her up on stage, the guy's like dancing around her, doing the whole thing.
Marlo's mom is great.
Yeah, she's dope.
She's incredible. I was like, that's awesome. 10
Yeah.
out of 10. And Sue is like, I can't believe we're doing this.
I know.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
So
you
when
were
you
just
saw the
clearly-
sign that we went into, why did
were-
you turn invisible and leave?
You were clearly trying to bang Cap, not
Shamelessly.
an hour or two ago.
That is Captain America, okay?
No.
I have a list. He's one of the 3
Yeah.
that I am allowed to bang after my husband dies.
That's true.
You know
That's
who's
true.
not on that list?
Namor.
Namor or Doctor Doom. I'm not allowed. Their evening gets interrupted by a bunch of gun-wielding thieves.
Yeah.
who are going to rob a male strip club.
Yep, they're there for that. But
I guess because they have petty cash on them or something. Like it's.
No, they're going to rob the patrons.
Yeah.
and they immediately try to shoot. They fire a gun at Marlo.
Like what?
Like, hey, we're going to rob you. Oh, no one's going to listen? Let's add murder to the list.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But Sue uses her powers and stops it, and then like all of the female superheroes who are there, who are Crystal and Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, Elijah, and Sue, are just
Yeah.
like,
Finally.
you picked the wrong night.
Yeah. Great moment. I love that scene. I
Yeah.
love those girls just like hanging together. They're like, let's go.
Yeah, you know those men were
Are
destroyed.
ruined. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We never saw them again.
No.
There's no closure on them.
No,
so
they're
they died.
The guys are gonna watch a
Stag film is
yeah.
the term back in the day.
yeah, it's a porn. They're
Yeah.
gonna watch a porn, and like
But apparently this one isn't a porn film because porn is distasteful. And this one has a great plot.
Yes.
And was written and directed by the person who wanted it made.
yeah, and
right.
it's artistic.
Yeah, it is artistic.
Very artistic.
And
yeah.
meanwhile, like the projector's not working because there's a projector.
Yeah, that's.
You don't know what that is.
8mm, man.
Yeah.
And like Vision fixes it, and like Cap won't look at it.
Oh, something in my eye. I can't see. What a dork. I love
I like
it.
that Vision's like, yeah, I got away with machines.
I banged the projector. It's fine.
What?
He taps it, it starts working, he goes, that was good.
I like older models.
I'm not gonna shame that.
Betamax.
They have the experience.
Yeah.
But everybody's kind of watching it, and
And Rick is like, I must be so in love.
yeah, because this
her.
chick reminds me of Marlo. And then like he turns to the Hulk, he's like, yeah, right, yeah, and like Hulk's like,
Dude.
he turns around and it is her, and she's topless, and everybody's seeing her goods.
Yeah, and they've seen everything.
And then they're also like, oh hey, by the way, a wedding issue's coming up, and we can't just have it be a wedding issue. So like the Impossible Man is here.
Oh, come on. Vision. Say what Vision says.
Oh, oh yeah. So when he realizes it's Marlo, Vision's like, that's your fiance? You must be very proud.
Thanks.
You must be very proud. Because, wow.
Wow. Va-va-boom.
Wow, wow, wow. I love on the cover that's that moment.
Yeah.
Like everyone's supposed to be seeing, but Cap's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna peek.
Yeah.
And also,
Ant-Man is.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
God,
there.
no, I can't. That's Marlo.
But I also,
What?
I love the fact that Impossible
Impossible
Man
Man.
is there
Ooh.
too. Like,
Yeah, this is one of my favorite covers in a
This
Hulk
is-
comic of all time. It captured my imagination. It was in one of these Wizards where it was like, you will not believe who stars in the Stag film. I'm like, who? It's like, the woman who's getting married.
yeah, but
I'm
it's
like,
great.
oh.
It's a good reveal.
It is a great reveal. It's a very fun story.
I love that Johnny's spitting soda on Iron
On
Man's
Iron Man's
head.
helmet.
Also, if you look at the bachelor party,
Yeah.
there's some amazing little, like, funny moments in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ulysses is riding Silver Surfer's surfboard.
Yes. And like Silver Surfer's like, please stop.
Please stop.
Could you not? That's part of me. The Thing has a helmet on,
Yes, because Wolverine slashed his face, so now he's ugly.
and they put lemons in his eyes.
Clearly Johnny did that.
Yeah, it's funny because he looks stupid. And he shouldn't have that helmet. 3 Peter David stories. Now normally we have to do like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Which one's good? Which one's bad? Which one's pretty bad or so bad we call it ugly? But
I don't have an ugly.
I love all these issues, and they all have like merit. I suppose you know there's joy and fun and subtlety and like.
I know what my
strength in this
weakest
one.
is.
Yeah, the weakest is the friggin'
Yeah.
is the gut
Yeah,
joke.
hands down.
Is the exploitation issue.
Yeah, but like these two, like there's two completely different tones.
Yes.
But I
And
like
they're
them both.
great.
Yeah, I
and
love them
achieved
both.
by the same person. Like one, you'd imagine like, oh yeah, Peter David, great horror writer, and it's like, oh yeah, no, Peter David, great comedy writer. Like, oh, it's all the same.
Yeah, but like this, I love this too because it's so unassuming. Because it's like, oh yeah, we're doing that, but it's like also Hulk having like
Yeah.
ramifications
strikes us.
from
Yeah.
like his previous events, and
Yeah.
let's
Dealing
have
with his dad.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
let's have a moment to talk about
Like
someone being
Hector,
gay.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
There's a lot going on in this issue.
and then this one's like, let's talk about the human condition.
Yeah. I think my good has to be my original one just because I was like, wow. And reading it again, it reminded me how horrible and scary it was. And like, it is a done in one, which I really appreciate.
It is. No, you're right.
And
That's
it's
true.
a tie-in. Somehow manages to be amazing.
It's a crazy tie-in.
It's a crazy tie-in. And has the potential for more, but they'll never do it. And then there's this one, which is great. Like, so, I mean, I can't say they're bad.
Yeah, it's like a good and a good 0.5.
Yes.
So it's like you're 1, a 2, and a 3.
Yeah, exactly. This one isn't ugly per se, but I did have I was not interested.
No, that one didn't have as much going on with it. I mean, I do, like, there's, like, political commentary in there, but
Yeah.
it didn't capture me the same way those two did.
No.
What I really didn't like about that one were the quips.
Ugh.
Like, the pop culture references were not funny.
Well,
No,
and what's
they were
interesting
great.
is like they're pervasive throughout all issues, but this one was the most egregious.
It really was.
And I think it's because it was an action sequence. Like,
I really have a hard time picking.
yeah,
I do
guess-
too.
Which
I-
one's
I'm-
your favorite? That's the one. That's really the question of the hour.
Okay. I'm a little ruined by this because which one do I want to read more of? This one. But there is no more of this.
There
I
is
found
no
out.
more. Yeah, it's true. Do you want to see the wedding more than you want to see Gestalt again, or whatever the hell happens with this guy?
No.
'Cause I
no,
think we-
all right, this is my good.
No, this is my best.
Oh.
No, it definitely, I like this one a lot. Like, I smiled the most when I was reading this, quite
Yeah,
a bit.
I heard you actually laugh.
I actually did laugh. I don't remember what I laughed at.
I don't know. You went, huh.
I
That was
did.
what I
Like,
heard.
and I actually, like, there was an out loud laugh there, and I cannot tell. I think it was,
It's probably kept going, ooh.
it might have been that.
She's supposed to be a magician.
The magician thing is amazing. Because I love the idea of the switcheroo of Cap being like, no, it's gonna be fine. Let Rick sit there, and they're like,
I don't know, gentlemen. We better do what she
we
says.
better do what she said. Like, you're Captain America. You punch Red Skull, and it's like, yeah, no, she seems pretty formidable. And I would love the idea of Johnny being like, is Cap awesome?
Yeah.
No, he's a rube. Oh my God.
Ah, he's like texting her. He's like, it's like a text, and Thing's phone goes off. I'm here, you idiot. He texts Spider-Man, you weren't invited.
Oh my God.
But there's no texting in this period.
They have communicators.
A
A little card.
Yeah, he's the Avengers ID card.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, Spidey, check this out. Yeah, this is my good.
That's fair.
I like that one a lot.
It's dope, and it's so unassuming. I never hear anybody talk about this.
That's great. It's scary and terrible, but I love it.
But it really, I think all three of them highlight like the versatility and the fun of Peter David. He's not without his faults. We touched a little bit on the fact that the women, a little flimsy.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's the one thing I'm like,
They say things like there's a lot of like passive aggression against women in these that are like,
yeah, this one had like one of the worst ones for me when
Well,
he
they're
comes back and he talks about like the phone being busy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
yeah. Well, also and like there's some significant brutalization in this that is overt.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, they rape her too. Oh, that sucks.
But also, like, they straight up almost murder Marlo in that book.
They do. Yeah, they almost shoot her in the face. But she's with like some heroes, which I would like to see more of. But you know, and of course, the only time these women ever get together to be like cool is when they're going to a strip club.
But they couldn't have just shot, like, She-Hulk?
No, well, she's impervious to bullets.
Yes, that's the reason to shoot her. Oh, get the big one first. Blam. Oh, it bounced off.
Yeah, but if
Is the
these guys
problem.
live and breathe, they should know that she's, you know, She-Hulk.
If they know that, then the second they see this part, they go,
Never mind.
Never mind. Okay, we're out of here.
Yeah, one of them tries to like blend in. He's like, no. I played the robber who really has bad timing.
I'm Brad Pitt.
You are not Brad Pitt.
So what's your favorite in the comments down below? Let us know what you liked out of these three, and let us know some ideas you might see in a future episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Welcome to the new year. I'm really excited to do more of these, and we'll see you next time with an all-new episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
See you next time.